So, good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. You know, there's a lot to talk about this morning, but before we talk about it, I want you to like, comment, and share this video. And of course, subscribe if you have not subscribed. Now, this morning, I just want to discuss about the New World Order. You see, many religions have gathered under the Pope to come together in order to become one, just like the Bible predicted. And basically, what that means is everybody is going to fall under, every religion is going to come together and basically try to worship the same God, but in a different path. However, when Jesus came, he said this will take place. And that when this takes place, right, this will be the rise of the Antichrist. Now, the Antichrist is basically going to appear to have all the answers. And we all seen by these past events that recently have taken place, not just yesterday, but throughout months previous to yesterday, right? That there's going to be a lot of changes that is taking place. And the one world religion, right, is a stage where people can worship in their own way. And basically, they're trying to worship like back in the days when Abraham, you know, but Jesus already changed that rule. And he said, if you don't worship me, then what happens is you'll be lost. You'll be like a thief coming into the gate, but you're not coming through the entrance. You are climbing. You see, he said, I assure you that those who came before me did not come in the authentic way, but they came as thieves and they climbed over the gate instead of coming through the entrance. And so he is the entrance, he is the key. If one world order takes place, the complications of the spiritual realm will be very devastating. And we all know whatever takes place spiritually will eventually take place physically and destroy our way of life. Because right now, this seems like something that no matter what, if majority of the world agrees, they will do it. They wouldn't have meetings. They wouldn't gather all around to meet the Pope in order to sign it into power so that they can basically say, Jesus Christ is not the superior way. We have our own way, and basically majority rules. But worshiping God is not like a union. They don't come together, right, to say majority of the people who vote to do what they want to do can do it. Well, you got a free will to be able to do what you want to do. However, there's always consequences if you don't make the right choices. So you can either, go through the hard times here on earth, worshiping Jesus Christ, learning the truth, the way, because it's all about absolute power. Demons and entities, right? They respect absolute power. That is why, even though they dislike Jesus, they can still, right, respect Jesus because of his power. So it's what's absolute power. And usually, who has absolute power creates all. And so you have to look to the God that created all, because absolute power is essential to the afterlife. It's essential to after revelation, you know? Yeah, it's essential. So just remember, stay motivated, stay focused, and try to do the best you can. In this life, we can't afford to make, mistakes when it comes to picking the right God. You can make mistakes because everybody sins every day. However, detrimental mistakes, right? Choosing the wrong source of power, that it's a mistake that you can't afford. You see what I'm saying? Side note, I want to talk a little bit about the Russian Ukraine war and basically, you know, give you my sense of opinion. Suppose, right, Russia and Ukraine were always friends and that they want to exhaust NATO's resources so that they can then reach a point where they will be able to attack NATO and overtake the power. What if that's what's going on? Because one minute you hear this, the next minute you're hearing that Russia is offering Ukraine citizens um, a chance to become Russia citizens, or they're taking votes and ballot to see if, Russia will overtake Ukraine. Like all of these things are happening, but then at the same time, there's battles. To me, it seems like it's a formality for, using time, exhausting time, taking time to basically exhaust the resources of the superpowers. And then they will eventually come together along with China, right, to overtake the world. So if you think along the line of what I am saying, or you sort of understand what I'm saying, message, like comment, you know, what you think. Because I never seen a war where, one minute, oh, they're bombing up hospitals, one minute they're exchanging fire, next minute they're meeting and taking tallies on who should be, who should be in charge. And the next minute they're offering passports to citizens, and it's just back and forth, back and forth. But I mean, it seems like there's so much going on that we sort of don't truly and fully understand. But usually in war, they just fight, and then one side overtakes the other side completely. But now there's so much politics and so much resources taking place. And basically America is saying, okay, if China then goes ahead and attacks Taiwan, they will intervene. But it just seems to me that they're trying to they're getting America and the NATO forces to exhaust all their resources until they have enough power, enough material to be able to fight them all. Because, I mean, if you send and you deploy, as much materials from all over your allies, like your resources, if you send it to Ukraine, right, it's going to be stuck there. And if they can play the part, eventually they're going to basically say, okay, we have everything that we need. Because if they decide to send nuclear weapons, like nuclear attacks, if they send it, right? How would we respond? And what if they send it from like a source where it's unexpected, a source where you thought you guys were allies? You never know. So I think NATO needs to be careful because it seems to me like a modern day ambush. Get you to continue using your energy, your resources, get you to keep deploying your materials to a certain destination. And then once they have reached a point and it's like if they're taking those tallies and they're agreeing on those things, then they could potentially say, you know what, Russia and Ukraine, we're one. We have what we need, and now we're much more powerful than ever. And we have other allies that are willing to join us, right, already that has a lot of equipments. And together, we are the superpower and we could overtake anybody. If that happens, what is to say that they're going to be stopped? Like they're going to be stopped, hmm? Because you gave them everything that they needed in order to, get to a certain point. So all I'm saying is people need to be careful. NATO need to be careful on how they examine, who's their allies and who's not. Because if this war just started, overnight, we're gonna overtake, and all these citizens had to leave, and then all of a sudden, right, it just keeps going. What if what's it called? They keep portraying it as okay, we need this, or we need to deploy this simply for the formality of just saying so, right? Because, I mean, Ukraine by themselves is not able to beat Russia, even if they send resources. And if they're sending resources, they don't have enough people to be able to fight them off, right? Especially when the attack happened unexpectedly, if it seemed like that. So, what I am saying is, all of a sudden, still NATO countries have not intervened in the fight. They have people who volunteer, but how much of them? Do you see what I'm saying? So, it almost seems like for them to go through, do you want to be a citizen? You're taking tallies and stuff like that? It just one side, it seems like, Russia says, oh, we're exhausted, we need to deploy more people. The next side is saying, oh, you guys want to be citizens? Let's take a tally to see if Russia, you know, like people in Ukraine agree to become one. All of these things can be done without violence. However, they were, you know, taking action and violence was taking place so much, right? For what? For them to start to do tallies and agreement where they could have done that and no single person would die. Nobody would have to lose, members of their family. You tell me. Seems like it's a confused war. So, but I think it's just a method of strategy to overthrow NATO. Now, NATO might say, oh, we're big. We didn't intervene in that. We didn't lose no man. We just send resources, and these resources are, not that much. However, they already have resources, right? They have equipments. They have, intel. They have knowledge. They have so much. And basically, what if, all they need is a certain amount of attention and materials. And then they use that because guess what? If they're using others' materials, if they have all of these equipments, right? Because what Ukraine is just gonna keep asking for more and more equipments, and you're gonna keep deploying as much, which could lead to trillions of materials and all of these things, right? Resources. And they could use that to fight you. Because what happens if Russia and Ukraine become one? What happens? Then they will be left with everything, right? Exactly. So therefore what? Two people that really agree with each other are and they're pretending that they're enemies is just, falsifying the way they do things so that they can overtake. Because guess what? They will become a superpower. China will become a superpower. Other countries will come together. And when they come together, right, they would have more resources and more people and more power to fight this war. And guess what? It will be enough for them to continue fighting. And it wouldn't even be their own materials in the first place. Because I'm going to guess that the materials that you sent to Ukraine is the latest equipments, much more sophisticated than Russia, right? If not, it's a little bit, close or it's tied, which is very expensive, but you're doing this for free. They don't have to spend a cent, right? Exactly. But how much of that do you have? Do you see what I'm saying? So think about it. You can very well be equipping China as well. Because of course China has the people, right? They have the people, but they don't have all the people's equipments. But if they keep getting it from Ukraine and Ukraine is the anchor, they will always find a balance in Ukraine with the resources and the connectivity. And if they find that, they will be able to fight this war for nearly free. Basically, all they need is manpower, right? Okay, go and use these resources. We already have them. We have them at free cost because we got them from Ukraine. And Ukraine was given this drama play, right? It's a method of falsifying your actions to a degree. Of course, in that, there's going to be a little bit of casualties here and there. There's going to be, you know, dramatic events. And what is being shown is simply something that, you know, it is to get people's emotions, understand money and all of these things are raised at the same time. So remember, people have gotten sophisticated and advanced in order to overtake control. So I hope NATO knows what they're doing because, yes, of course, they started off as the biggest. But if others are tired of your position, are tired of your methods, are tired of your rules, and they want to overtake, they're going to do it in a sophisticated way. They're going to do it in a way where you give them all the power without noticing, right? They could present to you a victim that is not truly a victim, but yet it's really an anchor to connect so that they can intake, the things that you have because you're going to do whatever you can in order for them to defend themselves. when they defend themselves, right? All they have to do is present to you a certain level of what? Chemistry or imagery in order for you to continue boosting them. But not knowing that you're boosting them, right? And helping basically your enemies to empower themselves because it's going to be very expensive. And if it's going to be very expensive, why not create, right? A imagery, right? A victim that is going to get sheltered by you guys. Regardless if you guys physically intervene, you will, send materials. You will send help. You will send as much things as they need. But what if they truly don't need that because they're one with them? Because if they're signing passports, if they're doing vote tallies, if they're doing all of those things, why would they have to fight? How come they could not just do a one big election with Ukraine and Russia? They just do it and then see what they decide. How come they couldn't do it in the first place? How come? There's something there. So what I'm saying is they're playing the fiddle. They're playing a game. And before you know it, that game is gonna come reality because they're gonna have all the tools. See what I'm saying? It's just like this. David and Goliath, right? Before they were always in opposing sides. But now David and Goliath are one. You see what I'm saying? This is not the actual David. It's a metaphor for the type of method that they're doing, saying that, okay, David is what other people will feel sorry for because he's the smaller version, right? Goliath, oh, he's the bully. But if the bully and the what's it called, David have come together, right? This is the method of the Antichrist. So if they have come together, they will get best of both worlds. And then what's going to happen? They're going to overtake their true enemies, which is NATO. And they will make new rules and change how the world system is. Because everything is falling into place. The queen passed away. People don't understand. The queen passing is just the perfect time for everything to fall into place. Because new rules have been made and it's going to be what? Implemented. And when it's implemented, you might not like it, but new power, new king, new authority. Used to be a queen, but now it's a king. And they're playing chess. So all of these things are very, very important to the coming weeks and months and years. We might not even recognize democracy 18 months from now. You see what I'm saying? Rules can completely change. Just like how COVID changed so much and we had to stay inside. Now, suppose a war took place, then us as a society will be used to staying inside for weeks and months at a time. This could happen anytime, right? We have random, hurricane or, grid loss or, electricity outages, Wi-Fi outages. All of these things are happening one after the other. Famine everywhere. And it's more drastic. I'm not saying that there's impacts that never took place, but this time it's aggressively increasing significantly on a, on a climax level that means it keeps going, keeps going, it keeps going. And as humans, we have to adapt to the times. Rules are made, not weeks or months or years. It's made in days. And changes take place. Just remember, learn to have, a strong foundation. Learn to stand on God. Choose the right God. Because if you do not, right, everything will be gone and it will be you and God. Stay motivated, stay focused. I hope you think about what I said because, I mean, this war that was taking place, if it's really serious, or to the level that they said, they would not be taking tallies. You understand? They wouldn't be offering passports, right? Because those solutions could have been done long time ago, you know, if it was serious, right? Because you try to avoid war at all cost before, if war is like the absolutely last choice, not your first choice, right? You don't make that your first choice and then you start to deploy democracy in who wants to be, and do you want to be what's it called, a citizen or not, simply because why? It shouldn't be your first choice. War should be your last, absolutely last choice. But unless it's a method to use that as your first choice so that certain things can come into place where you will be able to obtain certain levels of power before you fight the real war. It's like a cliche until, you know, because suppose, their whole method was to launch nuclear weapons. And once it's launched, right, they have everything that they need in order to combat whatever reaction. Suppose that was what's their real plan. What would stop them from doing it, right? So we need to really be smart and we need to really analyze what is truly going on because NATO can't afford mistakes. You know what I mean? Be careful of those who play victim in order to obtain power and position because then they can use that same power to destroy, you know, the people that, felt sorry for them. Have a great Sunday, guys, and enjoy. Bye now. Thanks for listening again, once again. Like, comment, and share this video. Have a great day.